I always dreamed of what it must feel like to be a starting pitcher stepping off the rubber after a fantastic outing, being handed the weight of all the hopes and dreams of your teammates in the form of this little white ball, and all you can do, all you know how to do, is throw it over and over again. No matter how scary the batter is at the plate, you face them. No matter how many setbacks you face, inning after inning, you must prevail. And today, you did it. Today, you did well. I've been exploring what causes that anger a little bit more that we talked about a couple videos ago. You guys left like 200 comments, and I tried to read through as many as I could. And one of the prevailing themes is that it has a trigger, right? There's something that triggers the anger in you, and if you can fix that, the root cause, then you can, fix your problem. And I've been exploring that a little bit more. I've been writing in my my little journal here. It's actually a little, size-wise, it is like a notepad, right? Which I think is, is really good for me. I think if I had a full-size notebook on my desk, it'd feel like school. Kind of a weird thought, but I think it's true. Anyways, after what I read you guys last time, where I was talking about being tired of being angry, I wanted to think about what makes me angry, and I couldn't pinpoint anything but anxiety. I thought that the anxiety of losing, of playing the game and losing to somebody, or just losing points in general, is what made me angry. But it's a very vague answer. Like, what am I gonna do? Go out and get medicated or something? Like, that's not really what I'm looking for. That's not really the solution I'm looking for. So I dug a little bit deeper, internally. And what that kind of looks like for me is, I don't know, like any time that I would usually pull out my phone, like, I don't know, I go to the restroom, I sit down on my phone, or I go to make a cup of coffee and I'm on my phone while it's like the Keurig's running or whatever. I just don't pull out my phone, and I just think. It doesn't always have to be about like anger and Street Fighter and stuff. I just let myself be alone with my thoughts, which is a very scary thing in most settings, but I think if you do it enough, it's like exposure therapy. Like you don't quite stress as much anymore after a while. You're kind of just alone with yourself and your thoughts, and you can make peace with that at times. And I think eventually when you're ready, when you're comfortable, your brain kind of just naturally brings up the elephant in the room, I guess, which is a funny thing to say when you're just thinking to yourself, but it's true. That's what it feels like. So when it was time, I sat down with my notebook and my pencil, and I just started writing. I wrote, "Your problems with anger and many other things stem from anxiety. Anxiety stems from fear." But the fear of what? There's so many things to be scared of right now. Even though I live a very mundane and privileged life, there's many things to be scared of when it comes to the future. But under all that, the conclusion I came to was the fear of failure. And I posed a couple questions of myself. And sometimes I write these things multiple times. But I wrote, can you abandon your fears, your anxiety, and can you pursue true greatness? Or is this going to be a problem forever? There's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to fear. So I wrote that and I read it. And this is over a few days. Like I write it down and then I'll read what I write for the next probably like 24, 48 hours. And then I'll add on to it. And I remember getting on the game and playing and thinking, I feel scared right now. I feel small right now. Just being in neutral against this other person, and they're swinging, they're doing all this stuff. I feel small, like a coward, because I care about my health bar. I care about winning. I really want to win. I don't want to lose to this person, so I'm scared. And lo and behold, I fucking lost. I couldn't do it. I just crumbled. And the next game, I remember thinking, well, it was like a little bit of anger, but more so a curiosity of what if I just do the opposite? What if I just don't care today? And I wrote in my journal, I added to it, I said, you have a lot of confidence in your footsies and your neutral until you get hit. It's very funny and noticeable. Like you can see the moment where things change, but it's fixable. And I think it's that final line right there, that it's fixable, that kind of changed everything for me. To have somebody else from the outside look in and say, this is your problem, you can fix it, is one thing. But to see your own problem, to write it down and tell yourself, yeah, I can fucking do it. Yeah, I can fucking fix this, and I know I can. For it to come from within is something completely different. I don't know what it is, but it is a fulfilling feeling. It just makes me feel like empowered in a sense, I guess. But I think the most like satisfying part of that feeling is that I now have a course of action. Like I've identified the problem and I know how to fix it, and now I can set a plan and a course of action to fix it. And I think having that direction is very important. I think it's one of the two things that I myself really strive for, maybe fighting game players as a whole really strive for, is one, consistency, but two, having a clear course of action when it comes to like training and getting better, but also I guess playing the game too. And I really find myself yearning for that more at the end of every rank session, every play session, right? Every time I play a long period of time afterwards, I just ask myself, well, what could I have done better, which is pretty obvious, but two, what should I do tomorrow? Like, what is my course of action tomorrow to remedy that problem? And once you like figure that out and start working on things, it's important to set like not an end goal, but like understanding when you've worked hard enough on something that you no longer have to focus on it. Mago talked about it a lot in one of those recent FGC Translate videos, that most mediocre players or intermediate players can't make that next step forward because they don't believe in themselves enough. Like, they don't believe that their whiff punishes or their anti-airs or whatever it is good enough to not have to focus on it all the time. Like, to trust yourself and trust your skills and know that you have those skills and develop them enough to where you don't have to think about it consciously is tough, right? It's a little tough. That's why at the beginning I said I really admire starting pitchers. Like, imagine you just have to have so much confidence in your abilities to throw these different pitches at these different batters and to understand everything and the flow of the game and all this different stuff. And to do it, I mean, they play what, like 180 games a season, something ridiculous. To be able to go out and start maybe, I don't know, like 20, 30 games is incredible. And how these really good starters just go out game after game and, you know, deliver, right? Consistent starts. It's really something admirable. But I won't bore you to death about pitching in the MLB. I know a lot of people don't a lot of people don't like baseball. If you think it's boring, you should watch a game this season though, because they added a pitch clock. Things have changed, okay? Game's a little faster. But I was talking about that trigger earlier, right? Like how I think me getting scared is what domino effects into me getting angry in the end. And now that I've kind of identified it, I feel like in the game when I'm playing, I feel it. Like, I know when I'm getting scared, and even though I feel it, like I know it's happening, sometimes I can't stop it. Like, I get very confused. I'm like, what do I do? Like, how do I get rid of it? And like I hurt myself in confusion. Like I just start flailing around again. But I feel like more and more as I identify it, I'm able to kind of slowly get back to where I want to be. Maybe not within the course of that round, but maybe by the next round, maybe by the next game or by the next opponent. And one of the tricks that I've been using is I think in the top comment of the video where I talked about anger the first time, but somebody said that you should just take like 5 breaths. Like, just take 5 breaths. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't really take much out of you. Just take 5 deep breaths, and that shit does wonders. Sometimes even like mid-round, like if I'm in a really bad spot mid-round, I know I'm gonna lose the round because either I'm like completely mentally checked out or like they have a huge health lead, I'll just start breathing, brother. Like, I'll just do 5 deep breaths mid-round. I don't give a fuck. And by the next round, like, I feel a little bit calmer. Or in between games, I'll do it. I just feel a little bit calmer. Does that calm feeling always last? No. Sometimes you're just too far gone and you get hit the next round and you're back to angry. But sometimes, and I feel like increasingly, the more you do it, it does work. It does help you out. But yeah, a little bit of labbing in the game, but also a lot of labbing out of the game, I guess you could say. That's kind of what I've been up to. That's my 8 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing, and I will talk to you again very soon.